Shut up! It's Daddy, you shithead! Where's my bourbon? Baby wants to fuck. Get ready to fuck! You fuckers, fucker! You fucker! Don't you fucking look at me!
Welcome to Tales from the Video Store.
Hey, Garrick.
Yeah,
What kind of beer do you like?
Heineken.
Heineken! Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
This episode of Tales from the Video Store is brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon, because Heineken is for pussies.
Well, that was since when did this become an ad? Oh, I know.
I love it.
We're all hyped up on this sugar from this cake that Lee's girlfriend brought us for our birthday.
1 year anniversary.
We are 1 year old on this episode. How about that, my friends? Can you imagine that we would have made it 1 year?
I didn't think I would make it 1 month, but somehow you kept inviting me back, and here we are.
Here we are. That's it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going
Get on fucking Facebook.
Stop looking at me.
I had
asshole.
wait, that's what screwed me up. Sorry, guys, I had the wrong tab up. I had Facebook up to post a picture, and then and then I just saw some dude getting.
You got mesmerized by a video, like a monkey seeing something shiny. You were just like, not blinking, just staring off in the nothing.
Yeah. Sorry. All right, happy birthday to us, man. Another week.
Yep.
A new week. This we're doing something different this week. We're doing kind of delving into director's work of art. And this week we're doing David Lynch, Blue Velvet. That's coming up. Hey, did we watch some movies?
I watched the movies.
Stop fucking looking at me! Fuck! 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 Yeah, baby wants to fuck!
Anyway.
Oh, God, here we go.
Stop looking at me!
I watched some movies.
All right, fantastic. What'd you see?
Well, on Doug's suggestion, I watched Day of Anger, sort of a... Well, last month we covered Western films, and he suggested a spaghetti Western I'd never seen from 1967 called Day of Anger. And Doug, as much as it pains me to say this, it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was. I will say it was one of the. I would put it in the top 20 best westerns I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's.
Really?
It's really good. The
good.
guy, the Italian actor who plays sort of the sidekick to Lee Van Cleef, he's great. Like, in the plot's good. I mean, it's the set. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like when Lee Van Cleef builds the saloon and like the pillars out front are shaped like 45 revolvers.
Badass.
Like it looks great. Like
Yeah.
you can tell this was right after Good, the Bad, the Ugly. So he was probably getting bigger budgets than he would have, say, 5 years later.
Right.
But loved it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's a revenge movie, but it's also not. Like there's a revenge aspect to it, but also there's just I guess it's about the morality of being a man. What kind of man do you want to be?
What kind of road do you want to travel?
Exactly.
Right.
And I love it. Day of Anger. It's on Prime.
Shit. In the end,
is great.
what did you think about the duel, the front-loading rifle duel? Like, ever seen anything like that?
He's riding on a horse with a musket.
Yeah.
And the guy's got the guy who he's dueling on. The guy has the musket ball in his hand. Lee Van Cleef puts it in his mouth. So as they start riding, he spits it in the barrel and tamps it down, and that's why he gives him the edge. And it's a duel on horseback, running at each other with flintlock muskets. And it sounds corny, but it's so fucking cool.
Killer, yeah.
Yeah. I love this movie so
Awesome.
much.
Yeah.
And other than that, I watched an interesting documentary called 24 by 36, just about movie poster collecting.
Ooh.
And I'm a big movie poster collector, one of the main things I collect is foreign release American posters. Like I have an Italian Escape from New York poster.
Right.
And this one goes into the artist, it goes into sort of the history of poster art in general, like from the French guy who invented lithography, like in the 20s or whatever, and just really cool documentary. Kind of shows how these guys kind of got screwed. Like up into the 60s, they weren't allowed to sign their posters. You couldn't tell them who painted the poster.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just really cool. But if you're a movie geek, you'll like this documentary.
Stop looking at me!
And
Call me Daddy.
Shithead, where's my bourbon?
And I watched a movie from 1989 I'd never seen called The Package with Gene Hackman and Tommy Lee Jones. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Yeah, directed by Andrew Davis, guy who did The Fugitive.
Yes.
Really cool movie. Yeah, like I remember it being advertised when I was a kid.
Just never caught it.
But I never caught it. And I just happened to catch it the other day and really enjoyed it. Just a solid, sort of mid-level action movie that Hollywood doesn't make anymore. And the only thing I watched besides that is I started Mindhunter Season 2, which is probably better than the first season.
Yeah.
I love
It's on the list.
Oh,
it's on the queue, man.
I'm about halfway through.
I'm
And
4 episodes in.
Yeah, okay, I think I'm one ahead of you then.
Yeah.
I'm on 5.
It starts almost directly. It
Yeah.
begins right where he has
Yep.
this nervous breakdown.
Yep.
At the end, oops! Spoiler! Stop looking at me!
This fucking thing. One thing about Mindhunter that pisses me off, and you'll notice it when you watch it. Well, my fucking story is ruined because it looks like I base it off of Mindhunter when I'm watching it, and I'm like, I had never seen this.
Yeah.
And you motherfuckers, like, I can't do it anymore.
Somebody told me in film school years ago, if you think it's original, somebody has already done
for
it.
sure.
So
But,
you know,
for sure.
but this is like, I mean,
Yeah.
the time period, like what they're doing,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, God dang it,
Yeah.
you sons of
I
bitches.
enjoy it.
So anyway, so he has this nervous breakdown,
Yeah.
and then it starts up right. What is he coming out of the hospital?
No, he's
still
the
there.
first few days he's in the hospital for me, and his partner, played by Colt McCanny,
Yeah, he's
who's
awesome.
who's
the big guy,
big
right?
guy, yeah.
Yep.
He's sort of
Tish.
covering on it for a few days. Like, he'll be back in a few days.
on
He'll be back
vacation.
Monday. Yeah, he's on vacation. Gave him a few days off, and basically they get a new boss, and their new boss is all in. Like, he's like, first thing he tells them, he's like, you want the guy that during the first season they always say you can't get Manson.
Right.
They never interview Manson. And their new boss, he actually sort of took a demotion to take this because he's so into the idea. He's like, first thing he says, I'll get you Manson.
Yeah.
You know,
Who you want, man?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And,
I get that.
but it's more about Colt McCanny. Like, he's the main focus of the second season.
So far, yeah.
So far, and he's great.
Yeah.
I've loved him since Fight Club. He was one of the head guys, Project Mayhem guys. And he also had this cool boxing show about 4 or 5 years ago called Lights Out, where he played a former boxer with brain. It was a really cool show, but nobody saw it. Yeah. And,
Lights out. I like that guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, he
I
looks like
remember
an
him.
actor from the 60s.
Yes.
Like, he looks
Yeah.
like Lee Marvin type of dude.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah.
Lee Marvin.
Big grizzled badass.
And just and that's my one complaint about the show is the guy who the main character for the first season, the guy who ends up has the nervous breakdown. He's based on John Douglas, and before John Douglas started the behavioral science unit, he was a sniper for the Detroit SWAT team. And this guy, he's sort of nerdy and John Douglas, he's a really smart guy. You know, basically changed how people thought about serial murders. I don't even think serial killer was a phrase before he. But they sort of portray the character who's based on him as this sort of twitchy, nervous nerd, which he was a really tough guy.
Yeah.
But he just also happened to be super smart. As he was a sniper for the SWAT team, he was also going to school for psychology. Which you can't be both. You obviously have to have the Colt McCanny character as this sort of no nonsense tough guy, but not the most intelligent. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird.
It is a weird dynamic. Yeah.
But anyway, other than that, the show's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
You think it's bad? It's so far shaping up to be better.
I like it better just because of the stuff like when they go to
characters have
Atlanta.
evolved some more.
Oh yeah, and the thing where they're trying to figure out about the Atlanta killer, and they send the guys to the neighborhood to talk to the kids.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, don't get in the fucking car.
I was like, don't get in the fucking car. He's like, I'll give you $2. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's like, what do you want me to do with all
That's
this?
the news. That's the
yeah.
new season.
The new season is basically I won't say it's all, but I say 70% of it is based on the Atlanta child murders, though.
Yes, that's what I read a review. Excuse me. I had Mindhunters Is that all you watched?
Yes, that's all I watched.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good.
And this we can go back to whatever you want to say, but I'm sitting there with my remote, and it was Mindhunters, and then there was Too Old to Die Young. And I thought so much, which one am I going to do? Because I can only do one. Which one am I going to do? And I hate to say this shit, I did freaking Too Old to Die Young. And again, Doug Wall was right. It's fantastic.
Well, fucking well.
Happy birthday to you, fuckface.
My birthday. Well,
I think it's Refn's masterpiece, to be quite honest. I'm not all the way through.
Yeah, but you're right there on the cusp. You said you're 6 episodes in.
That is correct. I am at the end of episode 6. Let me start over. That's correct. I'm at the end of episode 6. A spoiler alert, it's where the pornographers are killed. Now, Refn's the only guy ever that could literally do a 5-minute shot. It's out of focus at a bar, and all you hear is dialogue, and it be okay.
It's perfect.
Yes!
Yeah.
It's insane. Some of the pan shots in this thing are in this like epic 10-hour sprawling story are probably 8 minutes long. They will pan from the entrance to the other side of the street at snail pace, and you love it.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, just his pauses. And I heard. I watched an interview where he said that's the pain of the world is the silence.
Yeah.
And like this. I mean, like, so basically, in a nutshell, Let me count it real fast. 4.5, 6.5, maybe 6 hours in.
Oh, you're probably closer to
7 or 8 hours in.
Because it's 13
Well,
hours.
2 hours of that is the pauses between the two actors.
But that's a thing that I heard a lot of people complain about, like the lack of dialogue and these long pauses. But it never bothered me watching it.
It never bothered me either.
Not even a little bit.
Not a bit.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
It sets the tone.
The way he uses it.
All
right. Yeah, those scenes those long played out scenes do not bother me at all. The stylistic fluorescence, the color, the neons, like all that stuff. I haven't finished it, but the story's great. My only question to you, and I don't want you to spoil anything.
Yeah, I won't.
Before I ruin anything else,
Right.
or talk about this, because I'm not done with this show.
Right.
Just tell me, I'm 10 hours in, and the cartel has not been seen since episode 2. Tell me they come back. Or, like, because we're getting off, Miles Teller's character is, like, all over the place.
Yeah.
William Baldwin is so good.
How creepy is he, dude?
But he's so good.
Yeah.
He really is.
He nails it.
Yeah, he's really good.
Do they come back? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I figured they did,
Absolutely.
but it's just crazy that you would leave that story. You'd introduce those guys that early on, and then just they kind of disappear.
That second episode might be my favorite episode.
The final scene
just
is
the way
ridiculous.
it looks, it's perfect.
He goes down. It's crazy. This guy, Refn, Nicholas Winding Refn. He comes down. Did I do it again? Winding.
That's fine. Do whatever
It's
you want.
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. So there's this long dolly shot of all these federales that they're getting ready to off, and I swear, a whole song they pan down, just this long pan of all these guys on their knees and their hands, and then he stops at the end of the line after 3 minutes of panning down, and then he pans back. This shot never stops.
Yeah.
It's the same scene. Starts pulling back, and they start getting shot. And it's like literally, it's a 8-minute, 9-minute ordeal, and it works. It's amazing. It works. I'm interested. I can't wait to see the rest of it.
I can't wait till you get to the end to let me know what you think about the whole thing.
Yes. Well, and unfortunately, that I've been traveling a lot, and that was 10 hours.
Oh, yeah.
That's 10 hours, so that's all I've got this week.
Okay. I got a few things to fill in the spaces. First thing I watched, brand new released Brightburn. David Yarovesky.
Stop looking at me!
I'm not. Calm down. It's basically the Superman story, and they really don't deviate. You know, it's this family on a farm in Kansas, and this alien baby shows up, and they have a good life. You know, up to a certain point until his 12th birthday, and then he starts to kind of change, and it's imagine just like the most lioness, smartass, preteen, just want to yank a fucking knot in him.
Yeah.
That can basically do whatever the fuck he wants because you can't threaten him with anything.
Right.
And that's who this kid becomes.
Right.
It is extremely violent. In the violent scenes, it goes to that limit, and then it kicks that limit in the balls and goes a little further.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, it's out there. It's got a lot more language than I anticipated. I actually watched this with my son. Kind of initially was regretting it. I'm like, hey man, we got to stop this, but he was like, no, I'm fine. You know, it's okay. And we got through it. He really liked it. So I'm not going to say it's great. It is extremely predictable, but it's still good eye candy.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're wanting to see something and a different take on the whole superhero genre that I'm fucking done with, basically, this was a nice alternative. The other thing I watched a documentary called I Am Patrick Swayze, about the late Patrick Swayze, and just how fucking awesome he was, man. It was a 2-hour documentary. Lots of stories from actors and family, and I'm not going to get into the details of it because it's good enough to watch and to hear these stories come from these people instead of coming from me.
Right.
But if you haven't seen it, you're a fan of Patrick or any of his movies.
The biggest fan of Patrick Swayze ever.
A couple days before it came out, I read an article, and it was entitled "The Man Who Could Do Anything."
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I think the documentary should basically. He really could, like any type of movie. You know,
anything he put his mind to, he could basically do.
Yeah.
It was a special guy, man.
Yeah.
And then I had a weird fucking dream Saturday or Friday night rather, and there was a villain in it, or it looked kind of like a villain.
What?
And I woke up, and immediately in my mind, I had Sergeant Barnes in my fucking dream. So I walked downstairs and I turned on Platoon and watched it at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday. I had not visited Platoon in some time.
Yeah.
It's still fucking perfect. I mean, it's an excellent Vietnam War testament. And Barnes, I
always liked the story. Well, I always like the story of your dad not going to see that at the theater and not being able to.
Well, going to see it at the theater and then walking out.
And not being able
Once
to.
the shit started to go down at the beginning, he was like, nope.
He was a Vietnam vet. He was at the front line, so he.
And eventually he did watch the movie. But, you know, in 86, he took my mom and he was just like...
It was too soon.
Yeah, he was like, we're not doing this.
Big screen.
Right.
It was...
With all the sound effects and everything, I could see that.
It was
just
right,
like,
being in color.
Yeah. No.
That was right when Dolby Surround and stuff came out, right?
Yeah.
So it's, you know, things are a little bit...
But as good as Charlie Sheen is and Willem Dafoe, Tom Berenger is the motherfucking scene stealer, dude.
He's the devil.
He is
really
the
is
fucking
the devil.
That might be his greatest role ever.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like
hands down, it is.
He is. God, I mean, it was scary watching it, and I've seen it. Fuck, I've seen this movie 25 times at least. You know, but it had been so long since I'd seen it. Every time he came on screen, every time he uttered a line, you're just like, oh, God, I'm going to fucking kill this guy.
And I remember talking how the studio hated that he cast Defoe as the sympathetic sergeant and Berenger as the villain. And he's like, why don't you switch him? And I was like, well, that's fucking boring. He's like, they're always the villain and the good guy.
Yeah.
He's like, that's, you know.
Switching them up was brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
We're in a David Lynch block, if you will. You know, we're switching it up. So I wanted to get some Lynch in outside of the Focus movie, which is Blue Velvet. I watched 3 episodes of Twin Peaks, which I had not seen since it was on network TV in 1990, 91. I got 3 episodes into it.
Yeah.
And I had to stop. Jody, however, continued. She's in the middle of season 2, and I'm asking her, like, well, what's happening? Because I remember how it ends, and she's like, well, this is happening, and like, how fucking crazy is this? I'm like, I told you when we started this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I watched the first episode with her, I watched the second episode with her, and the third episode, we got to the end, and I was like, you still want to watch this shit? And she's like, yeah, this is great. And I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad. I don't want to say that it's bad, but to sit through. I mean, there's like 22 episodes of the second season. I can't. Yeah. I can't.
The guy who plays Bob is the scariest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like if I went into my house tonight, I opened the door and Bob was standing in my living room, I would shit my pants.
Yeah.
Full release.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
It was nice to see. I used to have a massive crush on Sherilyn Fenn, and she's still sexy as fuck, I'm happy to say. And Laura Flynn Boyle and Cheryl Lee, they all.
Oh, that's right.
Great.
Yeah. It's been a while since.
Yeah. Then I really got into some lynchiness.
Jeez.
And
where'd you find all this time?
Fucking last couple days, man. I had a 3-day weekend. What do you want me to say?
All right.
So I watched 1997's Lost Highway, which is widely described, and I remember watching it when it came out as probably Lynch's maybe least favorite movie. It's
probably one of my favorites.
And it is, after watching, I couldn't really remember a whole lot about it. I mean, I don't think I've seen it in, 20 couple years. Basically, it's about a jazz musician who is married, which is played by Bill Pullman, who's married to Patricia Arquette. He thinks his wife's cheating on him. And he starts getting these, like, videotapes at his door with his mail. And one shows, like, the outside of his house, and then the next one shows, like, somebody coming into their house with a camera. It's really creepy. They call the cops, can't figure it out. And then he gets one where it has him standing over his dead wife's body, blood everywhere. And he's a murderer, right? So they take him to trial, guilty, he's going to be executed. And then at some point, when he's on death row, he becomes a 20-year-old mechanic. And that's when the lynchiness... I mean, it was lynchy before, but then it gets fucking ultra lynchy. Yeah, it's like, I don't even know what's happening.
It's like a parallel world.
It's like fucking Dream a Little Dream, and kind of being John Malkovich kind of had a Lynch baby.
Yeah. Dream a Little Dream with Patricia Arquette getting her eyes fucked out a couple of times.
Robert Blake is in it, the fucking murdering son of a bitch. And
allegedly?
Allegedly. And he's creepy as fuck in this, man. He looks so sketchy.
He plays himself.
So you're saying he plays himself, yeah. Robert Loggia's in it. In his time in it, he's fucking great in it. Patricia Arquette at her absolute pinnacle of fucking hotness, man. She is so sexy in this, and so fucking naked multiple times.
Multiple times.
That's what got me through it. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. I just kept waiting for the next time.
Right when it gets a little bit too lynchy, they show her tits.
And I'm like, yeah,
I'm still here.
You reeled me back in.
Woo!
Look, man, it's like all of David Lynch's movies, dude. There's gonna be something in a movie that he makes that's just about for everyone. Like, is appealing to just about everyone. Now, the whole thing together may not necessarily work.
Yeah.
It's eye beholder.
Yeah.
Like, you can sit here and tell me this is the dumbest fucking movie you've ever watched, and I'm not going to believe you. You could tell me it's the greatest movie you've ever seen. I'm not going to believe that either. It falls somewhere in between. But it's something.
Yeah.
I've
heard that it was about his obsession with the O.J. trial. That's what he thought, that O.J. had like a psychotic break and didn't actually remember it.
I don't know. I know this was
Lynch he watched it every day. That was like his favorite thing.
Right.
And that was sort of his interpretation of what he thought happened.
This was later on adapted in Australia into an opera.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah. It does.
Those Aussies, man, they do crazy
Blast
stuff.
from the Past, man, I hadn't seen this in,
So
since
good.
the 90s.
The soundtrack is so good. It's Trent Reznor.
Yeah, Reznor did the soundtrack. It was better than
So
I
good.
remembered.
Right.
Which is nice. I was thinking, man, I'm going to hate this.
Yeah.
Fuck. But actually, it's a, good movie.
Yeah, I mean it's Lynch at his finest, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah, or if you don't like David Lynch, don't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I do kind of feel sorry for people who have no idea who he is. Just, I'll watch this movie. Like, they find Blue Velvet on
Well, that
Amazon
sounds
Prime.
interesting.
Okay, a mystery. What? Just, yeah.
Yeah, and it's Lynch is Lynch, man.
Yeah, so that's what I watched.
Which brings us to Blue Velvet, which
Velvet.
probably isn't as Lynchy as Lost Highway, but it's pretty Lynchy.
Yeah.
Stop looking at me!
I think this is the movie, like, if this is a good introduction to David Lynch movie. I wouldn't show him Eraserhead. I wouldn't show him
Lost Highway.
Definitely not
Highway.
show him Eraserhead.
But this is a movie that, like, I showed it to my girlfriend Bonnie last night. I don't think she'd ever seen a David Lynch movie before, and she thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good.
Like, she followed the plot.
Thank you, Bonnie, for the cake, the birthday cake.
It's
We
all
loved it.
over all of our faces.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're going to go through a diabetic coma before we get through this.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
And it's, 1986. It's a mystery. Would you say,
Yes.
What if you got to put this in a David Lynch section in a genre, like at a video store, what would you put it in?
Whose ear? It would be under film noir or it'd be under mystery.
Yeah.
Whose ear is it?
Yeah, mystery thriller.
Yeah.
But he finds an ear and it thrusts him into the.
Yep.
It's funny because when I was in film school, freshman year, we studied mice and scene. Where what's happening in the scene, and the opening scene of this movie is still to this day watched to show the undertone, basically here is everyday America. Man has a stroke, then they go down into the underbelly and see all the chaos. It is still today, they watch that scene and they say, this is what a mice and scene is. Like, this is what filmmakers, you're supposed to be watching this movie and you see what you see, but there's, really good filmmakers can make things, like metaphors and things like this. And this, Blue Velvet, the opening is a metaphor.
Yeah, he says the ear is a metaphor because it's the hole into the body. It's like people are talking like, it should be a finger. No, it can't be. It has to be an ear. Yeah. It's about a kid who comes home. His dad has a stroke. He comes home. He's walking through a field, and he finds an ear. And like he says, when he's talking to Laura Dern at the diner, he says, "I've uncovered something hidden," which I think is what the movie's about.
Yeah.
Is he's uncovered a hidden world in this small town that he did not know existed.
Lumberton.
Shot in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Yep.
All of it. Shot in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Get into it, Garrett. Come on.
It's good.
Yeah.
Dennis Hall, this is a very weird movie because story-wise, I would say, it is what it is, but every shot is beautiful.
Yep.
Every shot, Freddie Elms, he killed it.
Oh, yeah.
Every the lighting, the composition, the scenes. Dean Stockwell's character.
Where he sings the Roy Orbison song.
Yeah, they come in and they've got these old ladies.
Sandman.
Yeah.
The color in the scenes, just everything. This movie was methodically shot. It's a perfect movie.
And
I just don't care too much for the story. It's,
Basically, it's like a cheap 50s paperback detective novel that was given to a guy who didn't give a fuck about detective novels. It's the best way I can explain it. If you gave him a detective from the 50s, here, make this into a movie, and the guy you gave it to didn't give a shit about that. He wanted to make something else.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's a good
more conventional filmmaker would have it would have just been, it's a TV movie.
It's a TV movie, and then you throw a crazy fucking way over the top Dennis Hopper into the mix where he is just He's everything in this movie.
Oh yeah, he is the movie.
He is the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, his first words in this movie is, "It's daddy shithead, where's my bourbon?"
Yeah.
And you just know, when he starts dry humping her.
Oh, yeah.
After he sucks on the helium, that you're in a completely different element here. This movie's going to go completely sideways on you.
Yeah, and this was the same year as Hoosiers.
Strangely enough.
Yep. Yeah, this was sort of like his career was nowhere before 1986. Like, he directed Easy Rider and it made $100 million, and then they gave him a bunch of money to make some movies, and they did not work out.
Yeah.
And he just, he got too into the 70s, basically.
Well,
and, his career was dead. Like the biggest movie we made before this was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which, as much as we love it, is not a prestige movie.
Right.
And this movie and Hoosiers brought his career back from the dead.
God, he was so good in Hoosiers.
Yeah.
And he's so good in this. I mean, you can't. It's like I said right before before we started. I would like to see David Lynch's script, and I'm sure it's online, and I probably should have done this research, but I would like to see what the written word for those scenes were.
Yeah.
Or if that was just Dennis Hopper improv.
Maybe he just wrote "fuck" on a piece of paper, because I'm not exaggerating. It may be every 3 words that Hopper says is fuck, because he's just an absolutely fucking broken mental case of a human being who's a kind of a wannabe gangster, sort of.
Well, he's robbing drug dealers.
Right.
Robbing murder drug dealers. Because what are they going to call the cops? I mean, yeah.
And he is seriously deranged.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's probably why people fear him. Because you never know what...
Because he is crazy as shit.
He is a wild animal in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about abuse.
Yeah.
For sure. Physical and mental abuse. And it's... they talk about, like, the cycle. And he's part of the cycle. But instead of breaking it, he's just continuing it. Because just thinking about the things that he says and how he acts, and how he acts when people are singing and he hears the music, it's like it almost soothes him to a point, and then he gets fucking enraged again, thinking about whatever's in his fucked up head.
Yeah. Obviously, he's probably had terrible shit happen to him.
Oh, some of the as bad as you can imagine, and maybe worse than
probably his mommy probably did.
Well, as bad, or if not worse than what he does to Isabella Rossellini's character in this. And you can see her start to break. Also, her character starts to break, where she's like, hit me.
Yeah.
Because she's,
and she's almost enjoying it, even though she's not enjoying it.
Well, she's not. It's mental and physical abuse, dude. It's how it works on the brain, man.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why battered wives stay with their husbands, man. They just, you get beat on and called a piece of shit long enough, you start to believe.
It's so prevalent that people now call tank tops wife beaters.
Yeah.
That's how much it's in the culture.
Yeah.
Because of the show Cops and other shit like that.
Yeah.
And everybody says it. Hey, he's wearing a fucking wife beater.
Yeah.
That's how much that shit goes on.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying, which is terrible.
The underbelly of society, which is what David Lynch did a great job in this movie portraying.
Oh, absolutely.
One minute you see the old fire truck, and it's you see the frost on the lenses, and it's beautiful, and there's green grass and tulips, and then the next minute, it's stop looking at me, and he's pulling the scissors out, and he's stuffing velvet in her mouth, and he's dry humping her, and there's guns coming out.
Stuffing velvet in his own mouth.
Yeah.
Well.
It's a complete, it's the juxtaposition of the two worlds.
Because it does seem like this sort of Mayberry type town.
Oh, yeah.
When does this movie take place, do you think?
86.
It takes place in 86?
I think so. I thought, watching it initially, maybe this takes place in, like, the 50s.
Yeah.
Because that's what the radio sounded like.
Right, but his car, Kyle and plus Dennis Hopper drives that Charger.
Yeah.
So, it's got to be at least the 70s.
Yeah.
It can't be any later than the 70s. But, it looks like, if you take away the cars and everything, it looks like the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the town does, for sure.
What's weird, though, is when this movie was shot, Lumberton was this sort of Mayberry type town, and now it has the highest murder rate in the state.
Yeah.
You have a 1 in 55 chance of being a victim of a violent crime in Tampa.
Murderized?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is like, all the business moved in, and Oxycontin and meth just moved right in.
Yeah.
Because, it is the town from Blue Velvet, which is weird.
Damn, that's sketchy.
Yeah.
couple notes about this movie, a couple of little weird facts about this movie that I found. One, Isabella Rossellini's character was originally supposed to be played by Helen Mirren, and she was who David Lynch kind of wrote this for. And I think they were had either maybe done some shooting or were very close to doing some shooting.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, Mirren backed out. And David Lynch was at a dinner and met Isabella Rossellini and was talking to her about, oh man, I'm trying to convince Helen Mirren to do this role. And they talked about this role. Mirren and Rossellini actually got together, and Rossellini said how much Mirren helped her to kind of understand this character that David Lynch had written for originally Helen Mirren, which I thought was pretty neat. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen her in this role.
Yeah, it'd been different.
And it's taking nothing away from Rossellini. I think she was great in it.
Yeah.
For what she was asked to do, but it would have been an interesting take to have seen her in that.
Oh yeah,
I could see on your face you were like, "What?"
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah, very, very odd.
The only thing I can think of that is similar is when Michael Mann was making Manhunter, he cast Brian Dennehy as Hannibal Lecter, and Brian Dennehy told him, said, "You should go check out Brian Scott, this Scottish actor. He should probably be in this."
Yeah,
and it's just like, he's like, "Really, dude? You're in the movie?" He's like, "No." He said, "It should be that guy."
Yeah,
I was like, "Damn, yeah." It's weird that you hear so that another actor would basically give up a part.
Yeah,
you know,
very weird.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, it's the other little, I don't know, hidden thing throughout the movie. Dennis Hopper's character Frank, he has this gas mask with him.
Yeah,
and when he starts to really get fucking riled up, he starts huffing on this fucking mask, and his eyes get wild, and he looks like a fucking. He's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Well, originally this was supposed to have been helium.
Yeah.
To increase the.
Yes, I always thought it was nitrous.
Well, it's supposed to be helium, but later they never specify. But later on, Dennis Hopper said that he always felt like it was amyl nitrate.
Okay,
which is another mind altering, crazy. That's what he envisioned this guy taking, and I can only assume that Hopper in his time probably tasted some of that at some point or another, and that's how he knew exactly how to act.
Right, you could be right.
Yeah. But that was a couple of little interesting things.
That's
that
probably more true than not true.
Exactly. I would say 100%. But basically. Lynch said that when they tried it with helium, that he sounded like Donald Duck. Yeah. And I was like, damn, that would have been perfect for somebody else. Now what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But not for this.
No.
Yeah. But, yeah, cool movie, man.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's the thing. It's, like you said, this movie's more than the sum of its parts. You take it apart. It's like, well, that doesn't fit there, and that doesn't. But you put it together, it's just,
I understand why people hold this in super high regard. You know, I have movies where the dialogue just fits my mentality at that time, and that I'll always love for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that this probably has a following like that.
Oh, yeah.
Following Frank and how and the crazy shit.
Because this came out in 86, so I was 7. But I heard about this movie when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old.
Right.
But I had never seen it. But I'd seen clips of Dennis Hopper with the mask. And I knew about that, but I had no idea what the movie was about up until I was a teenager when I actually finally got to see it. But it was sort of like, even then in the 80s, it was sort of like this movie your parents knew about.
Yeah.
You know.
What's up with he kind of has like a curtain obsession. If you think back to every David Lynch movie, every single one that I've seen, there's a lot of fucking curtains.
Yeah.
There's red curtains in this. There's a fucking crushed blue curtain, but there's also a red curtain in her apartment.
Right.
It's very odd. And I noticed it again when I watched Lost Highway after this.
Yeah.
There's red curtains in their house, and I thought, man, this is so fucking weird.
Right. And it's probably just a weird thing. He probably just likes the visual.
It's kind of like Tim Burton with the swirlies.
Yeah.
You know, Tim Burton, something's always crooked. The tree is, oblong. Maybe that's a Lynch is, kind of like Refn. Got to have fluorescence, and it's got to have neon lights, or it's not one of my movies. Maybe Lynch is like, the curtains are going to be my thing.
I guess it's pulling back the curtain.
Yeah.
Because that's what he seems to do in all these movies.
Right.
It shows like a normal kind of Gives you a feeling of a normal scenario, and then he pulls back the proverbial curtain, and it turns into a fucking madhouse.
Something completely crazy.
I was on his Twitter earlier, and I noticed below his name it says at David Lynch. Below it says filmmaker, born Missoula, Montana, Eagle Scout. That's his title. Those are the two things he wants you to know. He's a filmmaker, and he was a fucking Eagle Scout.
Nice.
Yeah, and just such a weird guy.
Super fucking weird. I looked at some of his art.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the short film? I think is it Seven Heads Vomiting? It's just like a bunch of heads like coming out of the wall, but they're all painted the color of the wall, and they all just open their eyes and throw up. And this is one of his student films. It's just Seven Heads Vomiting. That's all it is. You know.
Are you surprised?
Well, see, back then you could get away with that. See that if you shot that now, it would be a YouTube video.
Right.
Nobody would care.
That's true.
Things have definitely changed.
Oh yeah, because Ratio was his senior thesis film, and just got expanded into a feature film. We shot it for years, like 2-3 years.
That's so weird.
And that's a weird movie.
That's a movie I've watched for people, and I don't even watch the movie. I just watch them hate it. Yeah, like I remember this.
You don't even watch the screen. You're just watching them.
Like the girl comes out of the radiator and sings the song about heaven. And I remember just watching this at a buddy of mine's house, and there was another guy there with his girlfriend, and the guy's girlfriend, she hated everything about it. She was like, "Why are we watching this? Why is that woman living in the fucking radiator? What's up with the baby?" She just hated it. She hated looking at it.
Oh yeah,
and it made me enjoy it that much more because I was just like, it just is what it is.
That's why Lynch made it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. He made
it's supposed to upset you.
Yeah, he makes it to evoke an emotion.
Right. Even if you don't.
Even if it's a negative emotion.
Or you can't really quantify what you're feeling.
Yeah. You're feeling something.
You're feeling, it's like, like how some people are, some people react to fingernails on a truck, and some people don't, so it doesn't bother. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. Like, you might have a real fucking negative reaction to this.
Yeah. Or
you might have a positive one,
Mine is catheters. Anytime I think of a catheter, I pinch the end of my penis, and I'm like, like I can feel it, and I don't even know. But my wife always comes home and talks about, and she does it on purpose. She talks about cathing guys at the hospice, and I'm like, hey,
it's not fucking cool, man.
I immediately pinch the end of my penis, and I'm like, that's kind of like a racer head for some people.
Exactly.
For sure.
So, what is y'all's favorite Lynch movie?
Ooh. I really liked Lost Highway.
Yeah.
I really liked The Straight Story. But that's a
one-off. That's like Dune. He's never going to make another movie like that.
Yeah.
That's one cool thing about this movie. This is the movie. It's weird that he made this movie after Dune because his career was in the shitter when he made this movie.
He was just like, fuck it.
Yeah,
it's all or nothing.
He made Dune and it did not make a dime.
Yeah.
And I guess at this point he was just like, damn, Dino's going to give me more money to make a movie? Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine for sure is Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart, yeah.
That's for sure.
That was,
it's the time I watched it, just certain aspects of it, the characters in it. I don't think anything that he could make could compete with.
I got that.
And nothing else that I've seen. But I will say, and like I said earlier, Lost Highway, I did not like it in the 90s when I watched it.
Yeah.
But I'm really happy that I revisited it.
Damn, I tried to watch that movie he made about 10 years ago called Inland Empire with Laura Dern, and it is unfinishable.
I don't know if I was telling Garrick, I was like, I don't think I've watched it.
She's an actress in the movie, but then she's in the movie, and when she looks out the window, she sees the people filming the movie, and she's like stuck in it, and just...
I mean, Mulholland Drive was great.
Right, yeah. It's weird that he says he makes these little low-budget movies now, and he says, like, I'm free. Like, stuff like Inland Empire, he's like, I'm free to make whatever I want. Damn, were they putting restraint on you before, Dave?
Sure doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Like...
It didn't seem like this was a studio film.
Exactly. What were the notes on Wild at Heart?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like The Elephant Man.
Elephant Man's great.
I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah.
It's a straight story. That was a studio movie.
Have you ever seen they animated? It's an interview of him talking about George Lucas offering him the job directing Return of the Jedi. And someone took the interview and they animated it. So it's like a little animated deal where they're talking. And it's such a weird... Because he's like, I've never seen the other two. he's talking to me about Wookiees. I'm like, George, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What's a Wookiee? And he was just like, and he said something like, George, he took me to a place, it's not a salad bar. It was just a place, the entire menu was salads. And he was like, what kind of restaurant is this? Like, everyone's got weirded out by it. He's like, what place just has salads? And he's like, and he's just like, yeah, it's so weird that, I guess after Elephant Man, he's like, this guy's such a great visual artist. He should do Return of the Jedi. Damn, that would have been awesome. Either he couldn't have done anything, like he just would have to do what George wanted to do.
Which is probably
which is probably why he didn't do it.
I'm glad he didn't.
Han would have come out of the ice. Or no, actually, Princess Leia would have looked at him right before, and then when she looked at him and said, "I love you," and he starts to go down the hole, and he looks up and goes, "I know." He'd go, "Don't look at me!" And Chewbacca would say, "Toast to fuck." I mean, it'd be curtains and shit.
Take off Vader's helmet and then the Jedi and it's Dennis Hopper. That's what the noise was.
Baby wants to fuck. I think that's a horrible idea. No David Lynch for Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, he's a guy that you just kind of need to leave alone and let him do his own thing.
Right, but
as tempted as you would be as a writer
to see it,
to just kind of, man, I wonder what he could do with
it's
this.
like the Tim Burton Superman. If you ever seen that documentary about the Tim Burton Superman, I don't want it to exist. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be real. It's more like I could just he fights a giant spider at the end. Like, okay,
sure he does.
Hey, if you're a film buff, a film student, a film connoisseur, if you're not just the normal moviegoer that likes Marvel and romance, like if you actually dig films, this is a must-see.
If you have not seen this, smack yourself in the face.
And if you have Amazon Prime, there's no time like the present.
Yeah,
that's right. It's a must-see for
right at 2 hours long.
Yeah.
It's not a crazy.
It's his most palatable movie, I think.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Every shot is beautiful. The stuff in the neighborhood at night. I mean, there's not one shot in it that's not just gorgeous. And you'll see Dean Stockwell sing
Candy-colored Sandman.
Yep, there you go. Well, that's David Lynch. Next week we'll be into Nicholas Winding Refn. We'll be doing Pusher.
Nope, fucked it up again.
What is it?
Don't worry about it. Just go with it.
What is his name then?
Just forget it.
Stop looking at me!
Baby wants to fuck.
God.
Daddy wants to fuck. Jesus. All right.
Do you have a movie?
I do.
Tell me it's something good.
I think.
Tell me it's not David Lynch doing Empire Strikes Back.
It's another movie about small town noir. It's the first movie Billy Bob Thornton wrote before. It's a movie he wrote about 7 years before.
Yes, One False Move.
One False Move.
Yes!
This movie, and
I love that
I love this movie, and it's a movie no one saw. I saw it as a coming attraction on a VHS tape.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Otherwise, I never would have seen it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep,
and
great.
Bill Paxton is this small town sheriff who these two FBI guys kind of tell him that these like trio of criminals, sort of Bonnie and Clyde type criminals, might be coming through his town, and he sort of gets overly involved. Kind of, like he sees this as his moment, and it's. I really can't tell you that much about the plot. It's just about these three criminals who are, coming through this small town, and they're sort of caught between these LAPD detectives and this sheriff. And it's just, it's similar to Blue Velvet, and it's a kind of a tale of small town crime. But this is much more of a standard noir,
right?
But really well done, and it's
I love it.
You can find it on like nobody saw it. I don't know how he got the funding to make the Sling Blade after this. I don't know, because nobody saw this movie. I think it grossed about $1.5 million at the box office, is what it says on Wikipedia. But yeah,
he did a short on Sling Blade, and then he pitched that and said, I want to do a full thing. Got Dwight Yoakam, his buddy Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
Had a lot of help.
Yeah.
And Jim Jarmusch.
Yeah. That's true.
helped him out too. And they kind of went to bat for him and said, "Hey, he's got this character. He's going to do this. He's going to write the script. He wants to do it."
But it takes place in basically it's based on the town Billy Bob grew up in Arkansas, small town in Arkansas, sort of just southern crime tale, and I highly enjoy it. Highly recommend it. It's, one false move.
Yep, it's I'll double that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You have to rent it, right? It's not on.
It's on Crackle. If you have Sony's free streaming service, it costs you nothing, but I think there are ads. But other than that, no, you do have to find it.
There you go, one false move. Well, Coppola is recutting Apocalypse Now again.
I don't love the redo version with the French people that goes on too long.
That's 6 hours long or 4.5 hours.
I like,
just leave it.
Just leave it.
It's done.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
The movie's as old as I am, and I'm almost 40.
Well, George Lucas always said, a film is never complete. It's only abandoned.
I don't believe that. I was told that in film school. Scripts are never done. I think there's got to be a point when your script is really good, and the more you change it, it gets worse.
Yeah, it's like painting.
I think that in some movies that's true, but in some movies I don't think that is true.
You have to have the discipline to stop and step away.
That's correct.
The best thing I heard Sam Peckinpah said, he said you can edit forever, but you should only shoot in a very finite amount of time.
Yeah, agreed.
He said shooting forever is. He said Peckinpah. He liked to get the shooting over and done with. He said hey, I edit the movie till they take it away from me.
Right.
It was kind of his. But that whole thing.
I have a clause with my clients actually. I have an editing clause with my clients because some people are very infamous for, I'll send them a rough cut of a video. They'll look at it. They'll send me some notes. Mm-hmm. Then they'll send it to a friend.
Yep.
That friend will make some notes. And then that friend, they'll send it to 6 more friends. And before you know, I've made 3 cuts.
Yeah.
And all these notes are coming in from all these different people. And I explain to them, listen, you just need to find 2 people you trust.
Right.
Let them watch it. Take their notes. If you continue to take everybody's notes and we continue to chop this up, you're not going to remember. We're not going to remember what we're doing this video for.
It becomes nothing.
Right. And that's. And I think that's very true. I think it's true with scripts or anything, even paintings.
Yeah.
Hey, I like this painting, but it's missing something. What is it? Oh, and then you add red to it, and then you add blue to it. Before you know it, it looks like shit.
Have you ever heard the scene? I saw it on something. They were talking about it's the perfect painting. They went and they took like a giant poll. What do people want in a painting? They want something historical. They want a landscape. They want something romantic. So literally, it's a hill with George Washington on one side, 2 lovers sitting on a bench, a horse, a house. It's nothing. Yeah,
it's garbage.
Like this is the perfect painting. Yeah, and it's garbage.
Yeah,
it's literally George Washington just standing by people. And they're like, this is what you get with. Like you said, too many eyes.
Yeah, agreed.
Too many opinions.
And I think notes are good. I think
but you don't have to follow every fucking word.
Yeah, but I think at a certain point, test screenings. I don't know. I think if I made a movie and someone test screened it by a bunch of random normies, I don't know what I.
Well, when Blue Velvet was test screened, the first night, he had about 70 people out of 150 run out of the theater when they got to Ben's.
Right.
Because people were just like, nope, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And the second night he had over 100.
Yeah.
And, the studio started to freak out, and he basically was just like, this is exactly how it needs to be.
Exactly. I remember Paul Verhoeven talking about that in RoboCop when the guy goes in the toxic waste and gets hit by the car and he basically explodes like a water balloon. They said 50% of the people hated it and 50% of the people loved it in the test screen. He said, don't you see, that's great.
Yeah.
That means people will be talking about it.
And then when it won maybe the Palme d'Or, maybe, had a standing ovation,
right.
Of a theater with 1,500 people.
Right, oh yeah.
So he was just like, suck it.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
So there you go. Yeah. So that's why, Mr. Coppola, don't touch.
Just stop, man.
Call it over,
man.
Make some wine.
Just relax, man. You're done.
You made. What does he have to prove?
You've done a great job,
man. Godfather.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there's not
He made Dracula. He made one of my favorite monster movies.
I watched Tucker Man in His Dream like a month ago.
Yeah.
And it's fucking great.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
It's like...
Hey, do like George Lucas and sell your rights and sit on your butt.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's just my take.
What the fuck's going on with Spider-Man?
So, apparently, Marvel wants more percentages than they're getting on Spider-Man, and Sony said no. And I'm sitting there going, Disney really?
Yeah.
Do you really need that much?
This is how it's going to go, I'm afraid, from here on in.
Because Marvel got the money from the Avengers movies, Spider-Man, and Sony got the standalone Spider-Man movies.
Right.
Well, this last Spider-Man movie made over $1 billion, and then Marvel was like, hold on, we should get some of that. Like they fucking need it. Not that Sony is poor or anything, but, I mean...
Yeah, come to an agreement.
Yeah, exactly. And first of all...
You've got a good thing going.
In the late 90s, Marvel Comics signed those contracts, basically giving them Spider-Man for life.
Yeah, sorry.
So that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
People act like because they want it, they should get it back. You know, that's not how contracts work.
And then you end, I don't know if you watched that movie, it ends on the best cliffhanger of all the Marvel movies. It ends on the best. You guys haven't seen it. So you don't know, and I won't ruin it for you.
Thank you.
But it's the best cliffhanger of them all. And it was like, I was like, oh, dude, really? And guess what? We're never going to see that movie.
Nope.
Because of greed. Because of corporate greed.
Yeah.
And that's terrible because the fans deserve, I mean, Tom Holland has been great.
Yeah.
He'll be
like-
down.
Now he's going to star in a bunch of mediocre Sony movies.
Yeah, because he's signed in.
Yeah.
And basically, he's like, all I can say is that these are going to look a lot
Now he
different.
used to hang out with Tom Hardy from here on out, which is cool.
Is it?
I'm talking about just him as Tom Hardy. Just hanging out with Tom Hardy.
Maybe. He might be a fucker.
He might be a fucker.
I hope not, because I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
he did, yeah.
That's what he's got looking forward to, Venom.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, he gets to hang out with Venom.
Yeah. Good luck with that, Tom.
Look at that, yeah.
And that's the thing is everybody's making enough money to think about the fans and how much the fans have invested in those Marvel movies and invested in all this for them to not be able to come to an agreement.
It doesn't have anything to do with the movie business. Like my brother used to work at the Walmart distribution center, and they took away their lunch breaks before he quit because they, like in 2017, they made $20 billion, but they only made $20 billion in 2018. They wanted to make $25 billion profit. They're like, we didn't grow this year. We're falling behind. Like Amazon's doing.
Everybody's got to suffer.
Exactly. Just like fucking, how much money do you need?
Yeah.
It's like Jack Nicholson says in Chinatown. How much better could you eat? What could you buy now that you couldn't buy then?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, what? And that's kind of what I think. That's what I always think of is that line of that movie. Like, what? Do you need that much money? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it's sad, I guess, but for somebody like me who I don't want to see any more Marvel movies that are made the exact same way as all these have been done. I'm actually okay. I'm like, you know what? Maybe they'll be able to do something cool out of it that is different.
Right.
Like, take it in a fucking completely different direction, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Cautiously optimistic.
Right, there you go. That's a good way to be.
Yeah.
Did you guys see they're making Coming to America 2?
Why?
Because apparently, we talked about it.
Because Eddie Murphy's coming back,
exactly.
baby.
He loved working with that guy from the Dolomite movie. And they kept, and Craig Brewster, who directed Hustle and Flow in the early 2000s. And then his career just kind of dropped off, you know.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, when that movie came out, it kind of seemed like he was going to be this big director. He made Black Snake Moan after that, you know. And then it just nothing. And I guess Eddie Murphy loved working with him on Dolomite.
He was the director on Dolomite?
Yeah. And he was like, I'll do it. You hire my guy. And apparently, I guess the studio was like, whatever. You know? Yeah, exactly. So he must just like working with him. Because, I mean, it's got like, what was cool was I saw him and Arsenio in the old man makeup. They were like as old men. Because I think it takes place in Atlanta. But they were not the same character, but they were two different old men. I was like, damn, that's because I love fucking anything where Eddie Murphy plays multiple characters.
It's the best.
He is like he becomes someone else. You know, like it's almost freaky. You know,
It's great.
yeah. Because they said when he would like did the first night professor, he would go around and just walk around in the fat suit, just so people wouldn't come up and like touch him.
Yeah.
Just so he could be like a normal person, which is kind of sad. you know. But
Oh, it's so nasty. I had a chain hanging off of it. God dang, those outtakes where he's playing all the family members
dude.
are just they're classic,
Yeah.
dude. That's good shit.
yeah, but I'm like you said, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. I am about Dolomite and this whole like.
When does
rebirth of-
Dolomite come out?
Pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, this whole Eddie Murphy rebirth. I hope it works, man. Because
I do too.
I mean, when I was 13, he was the fucking shit.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
1988, there was nobody bigger
Nope.
on this planet. Michael Jackson, nobody
Yeah.
was bigger than Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
To me, especially, man. I love this shit.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Thought about getting one of those purple jumpsuits.
And then I thought again,
And I was like, no, wait a minute.
better not do that.
Yeah.
What a show. It was great. Next week, The Pusher.
What are we doing next week, Garrick?
Pusher. By,
Pusher real good?
by unsaid director.
Yeah.
Nicholas Winding Refn.
Nicholas Winding Refn. We are going to do the first one of the trilogy, Pusher.
What was the year on Pusher?
That is a good question.
96 or 7?
96, that's
96,
correct.
1996.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
So he must
excited.
have done that. If he's our age, what were we doing?
He's fucking 20, dude.
20 years
Yeah.
old.
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous that he made
He's
this
48,
movie.
so he was actually 23 years
20
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because he had Pusher and another film that came out right around the same time called Bleeder. They both had the same star, Kim Bodnia.
Yeah.
And then I never saw anything else from him
He made a movie with John Turturro called Fear X that he paid for out of his own pocket.
that I heard was fucking cool.
And it destroyed it. And that's why he made Pusher 2. There's a documentary on the box set.
It's why he came
made
back
2
in
and 3.
Okay.
Basically, he's like his wife, she was pregnant. He's like, I gotta get some fucking money.
Yeah.
You know, and they're in this, studios in Denmark, the Danish.
Yes.
They were like, dude, we'll pay for some more Pusher movies. And he was like, sure.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, but very different than the movie we watched today, but
It's cool that a guy, was at the pinnacle of,
Yeah.
and then kind of crashed and burned,
Yep.
and now
Come back bigger than ever.
he just made a fucking 13-hour,
yeah.
soon to be Garrick's favorite fucking thing
I love
ever.
that he said,
Probably.
He said, I'll give a shit if people watch the whole thing. He said, jump around. He said, you don't like it, go to the next one. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not
And
crazy about this.
that's kind of how it's.
He doesn't have to. That's what he said. He did Neon Demon and Amazon. He did Neon Demon with Amazon, and they said, "What are you gonna do next?" And he came up with this, and he's like, "I got this thing," and they're like, he said that he sent the first 3 scripts to Amazon, and he says normally when you send scripts off, they're like, yeah, we'll get back to you, and they never get. He's like, even me, they'll never get back to you. And he said 2 weeks. They're like, yeah, let's do this. And it really is like, it's so good so far that I want.
You're where I was.
You're
where I was, Garrett, I'm telling you.
I want the DVD. I want to pay for the season. Like, I want to have
You
it in
wanna
my
own it.
hand.
I know.
I want to own it and have it in my hand. That I
We'll
can
see if
play
you
it.
still do by the time you get to the end.
It's
you
so,
may and you may
so
not.
good. And even if it isn't, it's kind of like Game of Thrones. I know you've got me thinking, hey, suddenly it takes this crazy turn. It's not quite as good, or it just keeps going.
Well, but at least this is
The first
this is his thing.
the first 5 episodes alone are enough for me to say it was a masterpiece. I think it's his masterpiece. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's something.
I might start watching it this week, especially before we do Pusher.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I'll just give it a shot.
And we're going to come back to Drive.
Drive, yeah.
We're going to come back to Drive later. So, I mean, you got several weeks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Suave. You are one suave fuck.
That's right. And you know what? It's a year. Let's do a birthday toast to your fuck. Fuck.